So you're trying to earn a PhD while holding down a full-time job. You already know it can feel like you're running an impossible marathon, right? But what if you had a proven system? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a playbook that's designed not just to help you survive, but to actually win.
Believe me, you are not alone. That constant pull between your professional deadlines and your academic progress, it is just exhausting. And most of the time, it probably feels like you're doing a mediocre job at both. But here's the thing, the problem might not be what you think it is.
And this is the core idea that changes everything. We have to stop thinking about just cramming our research into whatever spare moments we can find. Instead, we have to start treating it like a second job, one that has a dedicated strategy built to protect our single most valuable resource, our mental energy.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap. First, we're going to identify the real enemy here. Then, we'll build a solid daily and weekly system. After that, we'll get the right digital tools in place to support it. And finally, we'll talk about the long-term strategy for actually staying the course and crossing the finish line.
First things first, we have to completely reframe this challenge. Your PhD is not a hobby, okay? It's a mission. And on this mission, the biggest threat you face isn't the clock ticking down. It's the complete and total exhaustion of your cognitive fuel. In other words, burnout.
So, to defeat burnout, we have to understand what causes it. And it's usually this hidden thief of productivity that absolutely drains our energy every single time we try to switch from our job brain to our PhD brain.
And that thief has a name: context switching. It's that mental whiplash you feel when you try to pivot from a work report straight into your thesis literature review. You know that feeling? It feels so inefficient because it is wildly inefficient.
And get this, the cost is real. Every single time you make that switch, research suggests you lose about 20 minutes of peak focus while your brain literally struggles to load a whole new operating system. You do that just a few times a day, and you've torched hours of your most productive time.
So, how do we fight back? How do we stop this from happening? Well, we design our day specifically to minimize that context switching and to match our highest energy levels to the right tasks. This is our daily battle plan.
The main idea here is really simple. Not all PhD tasks are created equal. We have to separate the heavy lifting, the real deep work, from all the lighter admin stuff. You wouldn't try to write your most difficult chapter when you're totally exhausted, so why would you schedule your day that way?
And here's what that system looks like in action. Now notice the deep work is scheduled from 5:30 to 7:30 in the morning. You tackle the hardest thing first, before your day job even has a chance to drain your mental battery. The evenings, they're for low-energy admin. And, this is crucial, recovery time is actually a scheduled, non-negotiable part of the plan.
Okay, so now let's zoom out. Let's see how this daily routine builds into a really powerful weekly rhythm. Look, a PhD is a marathon of small wins, and this structure is designed to make sure you're consistently building that forward momentum. So your weekdays now have a specific purpose. Monday through Wednesday is for pure creation. You're writing, you're analyzing. Thursday is strategic. You build what's called a bridge to your next session, so you never waste time thinking, what was I even doing? And Friday, that's for housekeeping. Keep your digital system clean and organized.
Saturday. This is the main event. This isn't about finding time, it's about making time. We're talking about a protected 4-hour block for the kind of deep, immersive work that actually results in real, tangible progress on your dissertation.
And this right here, this might be the single most important rule in the entire playbook. Sunday is not for catching up. It is for strategic recovery. Rest isn't some reward you get after a hard week. It is a vital part of the system that prevents burnout. It's absolutely 100% non-negotiable.
Okay, so you've got the schedule down. But a great system needs a great setup. Your digital workspace needs to be like a command center that eliminates all the friction and just lets you focus on the research, not on trying to find a lost file from 2 months ago. It starts with something dead simple, your file system. Every new paper, every PDF goes into one folder called Inbox. Then, once a week, you process it. Rename it with a standard convention like this one and file it away. I promise, you will never waste time hunting for a PDF again.
Next, you need to be able to see your progress. A simple Kanban board, you can use Trello or Notion, gives you this clear, at-a-glance view of what needs to be done, what you are focused on right now, and what's with your supervisor. That clarity alone does wonders for reducing anxiety and boosting your focus.
All right, this one is a total game changer. I call it a force multiplier.
You create a master-style guide for your PhD. Every font, every margin setting, every citation rule, it all goes in one place. You template it once, so you never have to waste precious cognitive energy on formatting ever again.
Finally, you got to remember that this entire system is like a machine, and like any machine, it needs regular maintenance. We have to zoom out every once in a while and just make sure our daily actions are still aligned with our long-term goals.
And you maintain this system with a monthly check-in. This is where you get really strategic. You have to actively say no to new projects that pull you off course. You look for synergy, for places where your day job can actually help your research. You protect your focus by batching communications. And most importantly, you reconnect with your vision, the reason you started this crazy journey in the first place.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important question you have to ask yourself. Every month, every week, even every day. Is the job serving the PhD, or is the PhD serving the job? This question, this is your compass. Answering it honestly is the real key to navigating the marathon and, finally, crossing that finish line.